which is done in the construction kit place. We have a sound here? We don't. We'll add a sound here. Better. Audio. Serialized field. Private studio event emitter. We're going to call this the placement sound. In awake, we need to initialize this with our audio service. And then when we place, we're going to say placement sound.play. Then we're going to go to the kit, add a sound. Thank you, Scott, for that. Finally got an online of sorts. Oh, an outline. Outline of sorts working with UE5 with overlay material. It isn't perfect, but it's probably more performant than using the post-processing volume approach. Cool. Congrats. Feel free to share it. So Unreal Engine 5 uses blueprints and C#. Have you ever hired anyone to a project? I love watching Thomas Brush game dev pods. Yes, Thomas Brush. Very good stuff. But I saw a dev on an episode that explained how hard solo dev was and the hundreds of thousands of dollars he dumped into the game. Meanwhile, he pays a full-time programmer and freelances his assets. So I am working solo on this, partly because I don't have the funds to hire people. I do better working on teams. I think that, well, actually, no, I apologize. I am working on a team. I'm working with Emily. Emily, is on my team. She is our, for Fortress Flipper, she's the audio engineer. She's very talented. She provided all the music and the sounds for the game. So I don't hire, I partner. It's very tricky for me to partner with somebody because I have to believe that they have the same work ethic that I do. And that is, you have to like give a shit about the project, and it's not something that you're just showing up to do. So you have to click with the person. Now, if I had a company and I was hiring, I would hire. I think he's talking about how on Thomas Brush, he said that solo game dev is hard, and he invested thousands of dollars into his game. But then currently he's paying a full-time programmer and freelances for art assets. So I think, Badger, the difference is his first two games, he did solo. So what was it? Night Stripe and Pinstripe? What is his games? Can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Thomas, if you're watching. I doubt he is. Thomas Brush games. He had Pinstripe? Neversong and Pinstripe. Those two he built by himself, if I understand correctly, solo. And then he said, I'm never going to do that again. So on his new game, Twisted Tower, he has a programmer that he works with, and a 3D artist, I believe, is on his team. And then he freelances other things. Now, he also has a publisher. 3D Realms picked up his game, so he has capital to do that. He's not investing it in himself, as far as I understand. Or if he did, he invested in some of the project, but not all. So I don't think it's dishonest. I think it's just that maybe you misunderstood. Yeah. Oh, the guest is what you're saying. The guest said, it's hard. Being a solo dev is hard. I mean, take it from my perspective, right? Um, I'm doing all the coding with some assistance from Copilot. But all these assets I didn't do. The game dev. I'll have to watch the episode, Harvest Shadows. I'm not familiar with that one. I do watch his podcast though, because I find them very informative. The only thing with Thomas Brush that rubs me a little bit the wrong way is the course he pushes. I don't know how valuable it is. It's pretty expensive, and I've been burned with those expensive courses before. So I don't pay for his course, but I do take his tips because I think his tips are mean well. He talks very straight, tells you about the marketing and the business side of game dev, which not a lot of people cover. A lot of people cover the dev side, not a lot of people cover the business side. And I think his tips are pretty accurate. Wish lists, how to market, how to market yourself, how to get a publisher. Like if I was getting a publisher, I'd probably want his insight since he seems to land them. But I get a little nervous every time somebody starts pushing a course because I feel like, well, why are you pushing a course if you're making these games? But whatever. We'll see. Maybe that will come to bite me in the ass if I make a course one day, and I'll be hawking that. But I think his insight is pretty good. I haven't watched this particular one for Harvest Shadows, but I did watch the Choo Choo Charles one. The Choo Choo Charles one is interesting. That guy is interesting. And now he's working on that new game with the Prison Break, which is pretty cool. It just amazes me how talented some people are, that they can do the art, that they can do the sound, that they can do the music, that they can do all this stuff. Just blows my mind because I can only code. I have to buy my assets. So like everything you're looking at, these are all Cinti assets that I bought for money. This little project cost me like hundreds of dollars because I'm using multiple asset sets, in here. So I can understand the perspective of investing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into a project if you're a solo person. Yeah. I mean, you watch Lana and it blows my mind how she can do the coding and then and the artwork she does is incredible. So it's like, it's crazy. I cannot do that. I will need to, like, if I want to take this commercial and don't want to like make it look like Cinti assets, I will need to find an artist. So if anyone knows an artist, let me know. But it's willing to work for peanuts. But like I watch Ratlord, for example. I watch Ratlord, and she is incredibly talented with art. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. But she's a professional, so she gets paid for that. We don't need this event anymore. It was telling us we have this event. We cleaned up a whole bunch of stuff. I like cleaning up code. All right, so now we added a sound to the repad. Okay, we need to add an F mod. Studio, another one. And then we're going to pick the place. I think it was crafting, renovating place item. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see if our little looks good. And we can build these. Now, I would like to be able to pick this up in case stuff like this happens. So, buildable.